In this video, we talk about Donald Trump and his planned mass deportations and how it will affect you and your money. People, do me a small favor. Could you please hit that subscribe button? We're trying to get to 1,000 subs as soon as it's possible. Thank you. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Peter Lloyd. Thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World of Wealth, where we discuss all things finance. So, quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is the exchange of information only. So, let's get into the video. So, you already know by now, unless you're living under a rock, that Donald J. Trump is the president-elect, having won the election in November of 2024. So he goes into office on the 20th of January 2025. One of the many issues he's been talking about, one of the policies he wants to go hard into, is he says he wants to mass deport approximately, I think, 10 to 11 million people. Apparently, the statistics are that roughly 11.5 million people are in the United States illegally. So he wants to get rid of all these people. Now, we don't know if this is going to go like his first time in office, you know, where he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it and no wall was built. So we are talking hypothetical until he tries to actually do this. And also, I should tell you that when he was the president between 2016 and 2020, he deported 1.5 million people, which was way less than Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So we don't know if his bark is going to be far worse than his bite. But let's talk about people in Jamaica and the Caribbean and how this policy of mass deportation can affect you and your money, and not in a good way, as you probably suspect by now. Now, we discuss all things finance here, so we're going to tie this back directly to money. So let's set the scene. You get a call from one of the national airports in your country, or the national airport in your country. It's your cousin Pookie. Pookie went to the United States in 86. And he had a single entry visa and he ran off and he just didn't come back. But Pookie calls you. You haven't heard really from Pookie more than so for quite some time. But Pookie calls you and say, boy, I'm in Jamaica, you know, and them deport me. And they deport me, my wife, and my 2 children. Now, let me explain, because one of the things that Donald Trump is saying he's going to do is that if the parents are illegal and the children are legal, he's going to deport the entire family because he doesn't want to separate the families. But as far as I know, legally, according to the Constitution of the United States, if you're born in America, you're an American, so he can't deport you. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out. Maybe, I don't know what he's going to do. It doesn't seem quite likely, but let us say he manages to do this. So Pookie turns up with his entire family. Now, let's multiply this. So let us say it's not just Pookie, but daily, because Mr. Trump's, President Trump-elect Trump's policies are working out. It's not just Pookie that's coming in, but it's Pookie times 100. So let us say 100 Pookies and their families and their children are coming to Jamaica or Barbados or Guyana or wherever they illegally went to the United States from. Now, you can imagine that very, very quickly this is going to be a massive problem. First problem is the influx of all these human beings. Where are you going to house them? Where are you going to put all these people? Pookie and his wife and his 2 children won't be able to stay with you because you don't have enough space. So where are we going to put Pookie? So that's the first thing. Our housing could become a problem. Rent could skyrocket. And price of housing will skyrocket, because let's just say Pookie's able to come back and buy a house. Let's say Pookie's one of those people who was sending back money from the US when he was there illegally, let's say, and Pookie's able to buy a house. Now multiply 100 Pookies and their families coming in daily for quite some time. So one of the first things that I think would be hit would be housing. Rents would go up, and then we would probably also have a massive homeless problem. That's also a high possibility, because remember, Pookie left here in 1986, and a lot of the people who President Trump may deport back to Jamaica and the Caribbean may be people who left here in 1970, 1960, 1980. So they don't even know Jamaica anymore. They don't have really have much family here, and if they do, that family doesn't know them. Those family don't know them. So one, rent will skyrocket. Price of housing will skyrocket. That's the first thing. The second thing is your homeless problem is going to quadruple almost overnight, right? Now, the third thing that would happen, and how this is going to impact you on your money, is governments are going to be overwhelmed. Let me explain. Most Caribbean countries have a limited amount of hospital beds. When most countries generally have a limited amount of hospital beds, I believe in Jamaica it's like 1,200 hospital beds, if, I keep saying beds, if my memory serves me correctly. So, and you have limited resources. So basically, all these people who have been deported back to Jamaica and the Caribbean, how are you going to, hospitalize them if they need to go to the hospital? Basically, your infrastructure would be overwhelmed. So one, housing, the cost of rent and housing would go up because of all these people coming in trying to find a place to stay. Two, as I said, two, your homelessness problem would go through the roof. And three, as I just stated, your infrastructure would be overwhelmed. You wouldn't have enough transportation to transport all these thousands of people who are being deported back to the Caribbean. It would really, your hospitals would be overwhelmed if people got sick. I mean, how would the infrastructure deal with this? So those are the three immediate things that would happen. But there are other things that could happen if Mr. Trump's policies come true. Now, how would all that directly impact you? Well, there'd be far more people looking for the same jobs. Far more people. So if you had a population of, say, 20,000 people trying to find active employment, you'd probably have suddenly 25, 30, 40. And what that would do is, it would be good for the employers, because it would mean that they could lower what they pay people, because more people would be desperate for jobs. But it would directly impact your pockets, because maybe some of these people coming back, unlikely, but some of these people coming back could be that intelligentsia, that the island, that brain drain that hit us when a lot of the very bright people left very early, went to colleges, and some of them ran off. So directly, pay in terms of wages would be impacted, because you have an influx of people trying to get work. So all of a sudden, the employers are the ones holding the handle, and the employees would definitely be holding the blade. So it would directly impact you if you are a person actively looking for work. But there are other impacts that one could look at that are not necessarily positive either. So let's try and find a positive. Well, a positive could be that, as I said, some of the people coming back could be the intelligentsia, people who are educated, people who are highly experienced. Jamaica and the Caribbean does have a brain drain issue, meaning a lot of the people who are highly educated, who are very good at, for instance, we're losing nurses, we're losing doctors, we're losing teachers in droves from the Caribbean. They're going off to these first world countries, America being the primary one. Let us say they're deporting back some of these people. That could be a positive. That is one possibility. Secondarily, some of these people who have been living in these more advanced countries for quite some time could come back with more experience. So we could be able to tap into some of the experience that these people have. Even if they don't have degrees or doctorates or masters, we could be able to do that. So that's a possibility. So very, very quickly, those are some of the immediate ways that this could impact you and your pocket. So what do I think? I'm praying that it's just like building the wall. There was no wall actually built, and it was just all talk and no substance. Because I do think that these impacts would be as I just specified. And there'd be a lot more, but I'm giving you the most basic, because the idea behind Peter Lloyd World of Wealth is to explain these things in a way that a 5-year-old could understand. So there you have it. That's how Donald Trump's mass deportation, if it ever came through, would impact Jamaica and the Caribbean. Do I think it's going to come true? No, I don't. I don't see how infrastructurally can be done. It'll cost America so much money to try and deport deport 11 million people would prove. I don't see, they don't have the manpower. Where would they house these people? It's just talk. There is no way it can be done unless he's gonna have a military state. And I don't think America is the right place for that to occur. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm going to say this. I'm not being political. I'm just talking about this factually. Because as I said, 2016 to 2020, there was no wall bit. Of course, these are just my thoughts. Now, I hope you found value. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs as soon as it's humanly possible. If you enjoyed the video, please share it out. And thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. You are royals, kings and queens. Bless us.